Greetings of the day and welcome to India Business Insights. Often advertised as the more viable and safe alternative to the mediocre public transport facilities, online cab aggregators have made huge strides in the Indian market. Join us as we explore if this option is really economical for the passenger and discuss some hurdles these companies are currently facing. Keep watching to find out more. Also, to keep yourself abreast with the news and get regular insights on different business and economic happenings, please subscribe to our channel and click on the notification bell. So, who is a cab aggregator? Generally, the term aggregator refers to any organization that uses a website or a computer software to aggregate a specific type of information pertaining to their area of service from multiple online sources. Some popular examples include Zomato, Google News, etc. An aggregator in the taxi industry is defined by the government as a digital mediator or marketplace for passengers to connect with the driver with the intent of transportation. The prominent players operating in the organized taxi market in India are Uber India Technology Private Limited, Meru Cab Company Private Limited, Zoom Car India Private Limited, and Savari. Globally, some major players include Lyft, Halo, Didi, Careems, Uber, etc. Business model. The online cab aggregators usually operate on a fairly uncomplicated pay-for-performance business model. The drivers are compensated based on the pickup and drop services they provide for these cab aggregators. Cab drivers are the target customers for the cab aggregators and they are charged a certain commission on each ride in exchange for the leads provided to them by the said aggregators. The aggregator also usually takes the responsibility of collecting the fares from the customer and remitting it to the taxi operator. This amount could largely vary, though recent regulations in India have aimed to cap it at 20% and the driver gets to keep the remaining amount for the commute. Thus, the cab aggregators are mediators that help connect the supply and demand side in the market, that is, the customers to the cab drivers, and in the process establish and promote a gig economy. Costing algorithms are often extensively used in order to estimate the demand supply in a particular zone. The cab fares increase when demand rises in a specific area. Globally, this could lead to surge pricing, or the available cabs charge about 3 to 5 times of the normal fare. In India, the surge pricing is capped at more moderate levels. For instance, in Delhi, it is capped at twice the normal fare. Additionally, cab aggregators usually offer deep discounts for market penetration in the beginning to establish a customer base. Some reports suggest they even charge a premium to their existing customers while offering discounts to lure in new customers. Similarly, cab aggregators also offer huge incentives to drivers during this time to lure them to join. However, reduction of these benefits has been a source of deep dissatisfaction for drivers in recent times, as these benefits have largely remained stagnant or sometimes even reduced as aggregators begin employing cost-cutting measures. This is in stark contradiction to the expectation that was set by them in the beginning. In the specific context of the Indian market, one of the most significant changes that the global leader Uber initiated in its business model was the acceptance of cash payments. Due to the prominence of cash culture in many emerging economies, Uber had to shy away from its signature credit card only tradition in order to compete with Ola. Recently, many cab aggregators have also expanded their primary offering. They now allow for rentals, food delivery services, mobile payment, and digital wallet, in addition to ride-sharing services. Even within the ride-sharing domain, apart from offering economy and luxury rides of four-wheelers, they have now also begun offering auto services, bike rides, shuttle rides, etc. Now, we will talk about the current market, contenders, as well as advantages. The low ownership of cars in India, even among other emerging economies, makes India a lucrative cab-hailing services market. Uber had previously hailed India as its 6th largest market in terms of rides. The Indian cab sector has experienced rapid expansion. The aggregators provide stiff competition to both private vehicles as well as public transportation. This can be largely attributed to the overall travel experience it provides, the increased safety and convenience, as well as the increased usage of smartphones as well as the internet. While Uber has established itself as a key international player with operations in 71 countries, Ola was largely focused on India in the beginning but has now become operational in foreign markets such as Australia, New Zealand, and the UK very recently in comparison. However, in the context of Indian market, both remain key players that currently dominate India's ride-sharing space. Uber is currently operational in about 100 cities, while Ola claims to be present in 250 plus cities. Ola, as per Uber's 2020 report, with a little less than 50% Indian market share, was started in 2010 in India. After 3 years of its presence, Uber also entered the Indian markets and now claims to command more than 50% share in the market. Interestingly, they both went on to become leaders in this space despite the presence of taxi hailing services such as Meru cabs, Mega cabs, Easy cabs, etc. What differentiates other taxi services from giants like Uber and Ola is a major difference in their business model, which is based on owning the cars rather than simply working for commissions from the drivers, as is the case with Uber and Ola. This opens services like Meru and Easy cabs to be liable for paying for the expenditure of maintaining the cars, which also increases their costs. However, more recently, companies such as Meru Cabs have started focusing more on the B2B segment in order to increase revenues. Ola and Uber, in order to navigate this unique problem in a country like India, where only about 8% families own a car, was to tie up with banks and auto companies in order to encourage those looking to buy cars to join their platforms. In this way, the incidence of paying the taxes and maintenance still falls on the driver. Now, we talk about the big debate including Ola versus Uber in India. Ola is a multinational ride-sharing app that has headquarters based in Bangalore, India. They are a ride-hailing app also involved in other areas of expertise such as used cars and financial services. In 2018, Ola expanded its borders and first it went to Australia and New Zealand and then to the UK. Uber, which sits under the umbrella of Uber Technologies Inc., is based in San Francisco, America. They are an incredibly vast company that currently operates in roughly 72 countries and over 10,000 cities globally. Ola Electric announced on 24th January 2022 that it has raised over 200 million from Techne Private Ventures, Alpine Opportunity Fund, and others. The latest round values the company at $5 billion. Similarly, ride-hailing firm Uber is estimated to have unlocked Rs 44,600 crore in economic value for India in 2021, according to a study by UK-headquartered consultancy firm Public First. What made these two companies such a giant success in the cab-hailing business are some features common to both of them, such as good app functionality, effortless sign-up process, booking flexibility, transparent booking process, estimated time of arrival, fare precision, advanced booking, ride details, as well as feedback. However, despite sharing these common features and facing similar problems in expansion, as per Inc. 42, there remains vast differences in how the two aggregators are perceived by the Indian public. In terms of word-of-mouth marketing and recommending the service, Uber surpassed Ola by leaps and bounds. This can be credited to the simple fact that Uber is perceived as being safer compared to Ola in terms of chauffeur driving experience. Now, we come to the challenges. One of the biggest hurdles for cab aggregators remains the increasing competition such as BlueSmart, Rapido, InDriver, etc., which is causing overall market rates to plummet, which causes reduced profitability for both the aggregators as well as the drivers. The challenge for the aggregators here is to balance their rates. Taxi booking apps often use surge pricing, as discussed before, at the times of high demand in order to balance their losses, and conventional taxi drivers can often interfere here and promote their taxi stands by informing commuters of this extra charge being levied on the service. In various countries, cab aggregators such as Uber are outright forbidden, which presents itself as a major problem. In other countries still, there is a call to declare the car sharing apps illegal. In a lot of countries, airport authorities have also begun charging Uber drivers access fees at the airport, thus making them less competitive than traditional taxis. However, in India, we see a unique situation. The Airport Authority of India has entered into a strategic alliance with cab aggregators, which has opened new avenues for them. There are designated kiosks for both Ola and Uber pickups, which has helped bring down the pickup time considerably. Furthermore, the core software can easily be replicated. Recently, there have been a lot of government backed taxi and auto aggregators that have been coming up, and this could potentially create a challenge for large corporate setups. Some of the notable attempts include Namma Yatri, a mobile app by the Auto Rickshaw Union in Bangalore, and the efforts by Assam State Transport Corporation to open its own cab hailing service, which will achieve the dual objective of giving drivers the full income and provide the public with a transparent billing system. There have been reports of a data breach at Ola. Uber was also involved in a similar data breach recently, which was announced on September 15, where an employee's Slack account was compromised. There is also the challenge presented by government intervention and regulation of this industry, which could prove to be extremely difficult for the cab aggregators to navigate. On the driver's side, a major concern is the status of the drivers. Many cab aggregators, not very surprisingly, classify their rider partners as contractors. Often, what this means is that the aggregators do not need to concern themselves with the employer employee laws or any obligation or responsibility arising from the same. While this does allow the drivers their desired flexibility to work whenever they want and quit at any time, it has also raised a lot of pertinent issues for them in regards to their working conditions and the real wage. Ola already allows the drivers to be able to see the drop destination as well as the mode of payment. Uber had also announced a similar development recently. However, the clients feel that this might not be a helpful measure and it further leads to the cancellation of rides. This is mainly due to the fact that cab drivers prefer longer rides to shorter ones that are less than 100 to 200 rupees. There have been reports of drivers not turning on the AC as it reduces the car's per kilometer average. Passengers feel cheated when drivers ask them to pay extra for turning the AC on. Drivers attached to app-based cab aggregators also went on a nationwide strike recently to protest the hefty commissions they are charged by the aggregators. Attempts at regulating this commission and fixing it up to a certain amount have also been largely unsuccessful. According to the drivers, increased fuel cost, both for CNG as well as petrol, and high commission rates have reduced profitability to a bare minimum. For those who drive a car owned by others and have to make a monthly payment to the owners, it is a challenge to make even Rs 25,000 per month. The reduced profitability has driven several cabbies to sell off their cars and to find another gig. Thus, we see that cab aggregator industry in India suffers from the classic problem with monopolies and duopolies. While the business keeps growing, profits seem to be dwindling, making it an undesirable situation for all stakeholders involved. Now, we come to the regulations. Internationally, ride-sharing companies are banned from or have stopped operating in many areas such as parts of Oregon, Bulgaria, Denmark, Hungary, and parts of Germany. Currently, Uber has been granted a 30-month license to continue operating in London after its initial ban in 2017. As for the Indian market, in 2020, the centre came up with guidelines to regulate cab aggregators. Some of the basic provisions of this policy included limiting the surge pricing by aggregators to 1.5 times and not offering discounts more than 50% of the base fare. The centre also instructed the cab aggregators to not charge more than 20% of the ride as their commission. Another policy put in place to regulate this industry is the Delhi Motor Vehicle Aggregators Scheme 2022. The draft policy defines the regulatory framework for fleet aggregators such as Ola and Uber, e-commerce companies, and food delivery platforms. For this new change, all app-based taxi companies, e-commerce, and food delivery companies have been given the deadline of April 1, 2030. In the next 4 years, there should be 100% electric three-wheelers while 75% of four-wheelers, mostly cars, should be electric. This could be a game changer as cab aggregators such as BlueSmart, which is India's first all-electric ride-sharing initiative, may emerge as a key player once this change is implemented. Even though currently only operational in parts of Gurugram and South Delhi, it recently partnered with GeoBP to set up EV charging infrastructure. BlueSmart, through its all-electric fleet, also provides the additional advantage of zero surge and zero tailpipe emission ride-hailing. The proposed scheme also aims to cap surge pricing by taxi aggregators. The cab aggregators will not be able to double the price during the rush hours. They will only be allowed to charge fare, including maximum surge pricing, not exceeding twice the base fare as specified by the Transport Department from time to time. This can vastly affect the profits made by both the cab aggregators as well as individual drivers. Lastly, the aggregators will also have to provide quarterly reports on driver ratings and grievances against them to the Transport Department. For drivers having a rating less than 3.5 over a period of 1 year, the aggregators will have to undertake remedial training and corrective measures to rectify these issues. They will also be required to take appropriate action against the driver partners having 15% or more grievances for the rides undertaken in a month. These changes will ultimately make aggregators responsible for increased safety of passengers through applying a variety of interventions on their driver partners. Another recent regulation that can hugely affect the cab aggregators is the recent ban by the Karnataka government on auto rickshaw services provided by cab aggregators. Regulations such as these are also aimed at regulating the industry and can prove to be harmful for the future projections of this industry. Now, we move on to the future predictions. While the overall taxi sector was negatively affected by COVID-19, demand is now progressively returning back to normal. Uber India's revenue shrunk by 47% to around 370 crore rupees in financial year 2021. Similarly, for Ola, operating revenue cabs alone stood at 689.6 crore rupees in FY 2021, a 65% decline from the previous year. Media reports suggest that Ola turnover in India was around $215 million. The expansion of taxi services provided by market leaders such as Uber and Ola, as well as the convenience provided by these aggregators, positively impacts the market growth. India is among the largest markets for Uber, with 600,000 monthly drivers and 8.5 million monthly riders, while Ola boasts over 1.5 million driver partners across its various services. Over the long term, the taxi industry is expected to grow due to increasing demand for ride-hailing and ride-sharing services, increasing demand from online taxi booking channels, and an increase in the cost of vehicle ownership. Compared to other modes of transportation, increasing traffic congestion and low taxi fare are other major factors driving the taxi market. The future of the taxi industry is said to be digital. Cab firms need to be investing in digitalization in order to boost efficiency and acquire larger profits. Further, developments such as eco-friendly electric cab services will likely provide an attractive potential for market expansion. The Indian intercity cab market size was around $2.3 billion in the financial year 2020. However, as mentioned earlier, industry development may be hampered by strides in public transit and the government laws on taxi services. While cab aggregators have tried to remedy some of the drivers' concerns, these measures have been deemed as too few and far between. However, despite these challenges faced by individual drivers as well as cab aggregators, the number of registered taxis have been increasing. In Delhi alone, the number of registered taxis has risen to 122.48 thousand in 2020 from 45.24 thousand in 2010. The future predictions seem positive, as well as with some estimations stating that the industry might grow over $4 billion by the financial year 2027. Recommendations. Some of the pertinent suggestions as given by the Competition Commission of India are as follows. 1. Break up of the total fare to appropriately reflect the surge component in the invoice generated should be sent to the riders and drivers. 2. Setting out a clear and transparent cancellation policy. In the event of cancellation of a ride by the rider, the sharing of the cancellation charge between driver and cab aggregators should be reflected in a transparent manner to the drivers. 3. Setting a clear and transparent policy on surge pricing and including adequate transparency with respect to the sharing of revenue on account of surge between the drivers and the cab aggregators. 4. Algorithm, while allocating rides amongst various available cabs, should not give preference to the vehicles owned directly or indirectly by the said cab aggregators. While it appears that Ola and Uber run a duopoly, there are new entrants like Blue Cab and others who are trying to enter the market. It needs to be seen if they can generate the financial muscle to launch all India operations and build scale quickly. While Uber is listed internationally and has received huge amounts of funding, its allocation for India remains unknown. ANI Technology, the company that runs Ola in India and a few other countries, has also received around USD 4 billion with the latest J round in February 2022. It is currently mulling an IPO which may come out the next year. With this, we come to the end of the video. Thank you for watching and please subscribe to our channel.